One evening, as the sky was painted in hues of gold and crimson, the river god Ejiro emerged from the water. He was an ethereal figure, his form shimmering with a silvery light that reflected the setting sun. His eyes were deep pools of ancient wisdom, and his voice was a gentle breeze that caressed Amara's ears. In the heart of the verdant land of Oba, life thrived beneath the wide canopy of ancient trees. The village was a vibrant mosaic of color and sound. The air was filled with the sweet aroma of blooming flowers, and the distant murmur of the river added a soothing undertone to the daily rhythm of life. Amara, a young woman of stunning beauty, lived in a small thatched house near the riverbank. Her mornings began with the gentle chime of village bells, signaling the start of a new day. She would rise before the sun, her movements graceful and deliberate, as if she were part of a dance choreographed by nature itself. As she walked towards the river, her feet barely making a sound on the soft earth, she marveled at the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting intricate patterns on the ground. Each step was a meditation, a moment to connect with the natural world around her. The river was a place of magic and mystery. Its waters shimmered like liquid crystal, and its banks were lined with lush foliage that seemed to whisper secrets to those who listened. It was here that Amara felt a sense of peace, a connection to something greater than herself. On one such morning, as she filled her clay pot with water, she noticed the air growing still and heavy. A soft voice, like a distant echo, floated on the breeze. "Beautiful Amara, I have watched you from afar. You are kind and pure of heart." Startled, Amara glanced around, her heart pounding in her chest. She saw no one but felt a presence, a tingling sensation that made her shiver. She finished her task quickly, her mind racing with questions. Who had spoken to her? And why? Days turned into weeks, and Amara's visits to the river became more frequent. Each time she approached the water, she felt the same inexplicable presence. The river seemed to come alive, its surface rippling with an otherworldly energy. She wondered if she was imagining things or if there was truly something divine at play. One evening, as the sky was painted in hues of gold and crimson, the river god Ejiro emerged from the water. He was an ethereal figure, his form shimmering with a silvery light that reflected the setting sun. His eyes were deep pools of ancient wisdom, and his voice was a gentle breeze that caressed Amara's ears. "Amara," Ejiro said, his voice carrying a warmth that seemed to envelop her. "I have chosen you to be the vessel of a great blessing. You are worthy of this gift because of your pure heart and unwavering kindness." Amara felt a mixture of awe and trepidation. "What is this gift?" she asked, her voice trembling. "A child," Ejiro replied. "A child born of divine blessing, who will bring light and healing to those in need." Before Amara could respond, Ejiro disappeared into the river, leaving her in stunned silence. The weight of his words pressed heavily upon her. She felt a profound sense of destiny, but also a deep unease about the implications of such a blessing. As the months passed, Amara's pregnancy became evident to all. Her once slender figure was now rounded with the promise of new life. Yet, instead of the joyous celebration that might have accompanied such news, there was a growing sense of unease in the village. The elders, with their long robes and wise eyes, began to murmur among themselves. They gathered in the shade of an ancient baobab tree, discussing the unusual circumstances surrounding Amara's pregnancy. Chief Obinna, a man of great respect and authority, led the discussions. Amara's heart sank as she overheard snippets of their conversations. Words like curse and divine punishment floated through the air. She felt the weight of their judgment, and her once happy days were now marred by whispers and sidelong glances. One evening, as she sat by the river, she could not shake the feeling of being watched. The river's gentle flow seemed to mock her, and the rustling leaves felt like they were whispering her fears back to her. The once prosperous village of Oba began to experience a series of calamities. Crops that had once thrived in the fertile soil withered and turned to dust. Livestock fell ill with strange ailments, and a pervasive sense of dread settled over the village. Amara's own distress deepened as she saw her beloved village suffering. she prayed daily by the river, seeking solace and answers. Her heart ached for her unborn child and for the villagers who now regarded her with suspicion. Then, tragedy struck the royal family. Prince Kofi, the king's only son and heir, fell mysteriously ill. His once strong body was now frail and weak. King Nnamdi, who had always been a pillar of strength, was now a picture of despair. The prince's illness was unlike anything the village healers had encountered. Despite their best efforts, his condition worsened. The king's anguish was palpable. His nights were filled with sleepless worry, and his days were spent in vain searches for a cure. The palace, once a place of grandeur and celebration, was now shrouded in sorrow. As Prince Kofi's condition deteriorated, the villagers became increasingly convinced that Amara's child was the cause of their suffering. Their whispers turned into open accusations, and the atmosphere in the village grew tense and hostile. Chief Obinna, though sympathetic to Amara's plight, could not ignore the mounting pressure from the villagers. He convened a meeting with King Nnamdi, hoping to find a solution that would appease both the villagers and the royal family. In the grand hall of the palace, Chief Obinna addressed the king. "Your Majesty, we understand the gravity of Prince Kofi's illness. The villagers are convinced that Amara's child is linked to this misfortune. We must find a way to address these fears and restore balance." King Nnamdi, with a heavy heart, nodded in agreement. "I am willing to consider any solution that will save my son and bring peace to my people. But we must act quickly." The meeting ended with a sense of urgency. The king and the chief were united in their quest for answers, but the path ahead remained uncertain. Amara's life became increasingly isolated. The once friendly faces in the village were now distant and cold. She felt the sting of their rejection deeply, but her love for her unborn child kept her going. Each night, as she lay in bed, she would caress her growing belly and whisper words of comfort to the baby inside. She spoke of the beauty of the world, the strength of their ancestors, and the promise of a brighter future. One night, as she slept fitfully, she felt a familiar presence. Ejiro appeared in her dream, his form glowing with a soothing light. "Amara," he said gently, "do not be afraid. Your child is a blessing, not a curse. She will bring healing and hope to those who need it." When Amara awoke, she felt a renewed sense of hope. Ejiro's words were a balm to her troubled heart. She resolved to protect her child and to remain steadfast in her faith, no matter the challenges ahead. The day of Nneka's birth was both a moment of profound joy and deep apprehension. The labor was long and arduous, but Amara's determination never wavered. As the first cries of her newborn daughter filled the room, Amara felt a surge of love and relief. Nneka was a radiant baby, her skin glowing with an inner light. Her eyes, even at birth, seemed to hold a depth of wisdom that belied her tender age. Amara named her Nneka, meaning mother's pride, and felt a powerful connection to her child. As Nneka grew, it became clear that she was a special child. Her laughter was like the tinkling of wind chimes, and her presence brought a sense of calm to those around her. She had an uncanny ability to soothe even the most troubled souls, and flowers seemed to bloom wherever she went. Amara's heart swelled with pride and hope for her daughter. Despite the villagers' continued hostility, she found solace in Nneka's pure spirit and extraordinary gifts. Nneka's abilities continued to develop as she grew older. Her touch had a healing quality that amazed those who experienced it. She would often be found tending to sick animals or helping injured villagers with a gentle, soothing touch. Despite her growing reputation as a healer, Nneka remained humble and focused on her mission. She understood the weight of her gifts and the responsibility that came with them. She had learned from her mother that true healing went beyond physical remedies, it was about restoring hope and balance. One day, as she was walking by the river, Ejiro appeared before her once more. "Nneka," he said with a voice that was both reassuring and commanding, "your time has come. The prince is suffering, and you have the power to heal him. Your journey will be challenging, but you must trust in your abilities and in the divine blessing that you carry." Nneka felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. How will I help him if the villagers in the palace do not believe in me? Your gifts are real, Ejiro said. Believe in yourself, and others will come to see the truth. Your journey is as much about proving your worth as it is about healing the prince. With Ejiro's words in her heart, Nneka began preparing for the journey to the palace. She packed a small bag with herbs, healing salves, and a few personal items. Each item was carefully chosen, reflecting her commitment to the task ahead. Nneka's journey to the palace was an adventure filled with challenges and discoveries. As she traversed dense forests and crossed raging rivers, she encountered various people and creatures, each with their own stories of hardship and healing. In the forest, she met an elderly woman who was struggling with a broken leg. Nneka's gentle touch and soothing words helped the woman find relief, and in gratitude, the woman shared her knowledge of rare herbs that could aid in healing. Crossing a river, Nneka faced the challenge of strong currents and slippery rocks. Her determination and resourcefulness helped her navigate the treacherous waters, and she learned to appreciate the strength and resilience within herself. As she neared the palace, Nneka's heart swelled with anticipation. She knew that her journey was not just a physical one but also a spiritual one. Each challenge she faced had strengthened her resolve and deepened her connection to her divine gifts. Upon arriving at the palace gates, Nneka was met with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. The palace guards, clad in ornate uniforms, eyed her warily as she approached. Her presence, though calm and composed, was marked by the weight of her mission. The grand halls of the palace were adorned with tapestries and golden artifacts, a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere that surrounded Prince Kofi's room. Nneka was led to the prince's bedside, where King Nnamdi and his advisors awaited her arrival. King Nnamdi, though a figure of authority, was visibly anxious. His eyes reflected the sleepless nights and the deep sorrow he felt for his son. As Nneka introduced herself and explained her purpose, the room was filled with a tense silence. "Can you truly heal my son?" King Nnamdi asked, his voice heavy with hope and doubt. Nneka nodded, her hands trembling slightly as she approached the prince. "I believe in the power of my gifts, and I hope to bring relief to your son." As she placed her hands on Prince Kofi's forehead, she felt a connection to something greater than herself. The warm, healing light that emanated from her touch began to fill the room, creating a sense of calm and peace. The transformation was gradual but profound. As Nneka continued her healing, the prince's condition began to improve. His once pale face took on a healthier hue, and his breathing became more steady. The room, once filled with despair, now resonated with a sense of hope. King Nnamdi watched with a mixture of awe and gratitude. The advisors, initially skeptical, began to see the miraculous change unfolding before them. The healing light that Nneka brought seemed to transcend the boundaries between the divine and the earthly. As the days passed, Prince Kofi's strength returned. He was able to sit up, speak, and even walk with assistance. The transformation was nothing short of a miracle, and the palace buzzed with news of the healing. Nneka's heart swelled with a sense of accomplishment and relief. She knew that her journey had not only helped the prince but had also begun to mend the rift between her and the village. The healing she had performed was a testament to the power of belief, love, and divine grace. News of Prince Kofi's miraculous recovery spread rapidly throughout the village of Oba. The villagers, once skeptical and fearful, began to reassess their views on Amara and her daughter. The miracle performed by Nneka was a turning point, and many were eager to show their gratitude. Chief Obinna, who had been a staunch advocate for understanding, organized a ceremony to honor Nneka and her mother. The village gathered in the central square, adorned with vibrant banners and colorful decorations. Amara stood with Nneka, her heart full of pride and hope. The once hostile villagers now approached them with smiles and apologies. They offered gifts and expressed their gratitude for the healing that had brought peace to the village. King Nnamdi, who had come to witness the celebration, praised Nneka for her bravery and skill. "Your healing has not only restored my son's health but has also reminded us of the power of faith and forgiveness." As the days turned into weeks, the village of Oba began to heal from its recent trials. The once withering crops started to flourish, and the livestock regained their vitality. The sense of unity and harmony that had been restored was palpable. Nneka continued to use her healing gifts to help those in need, both within the village and beyond. Her reputation as a healer grew, and people from neighboring villages sought her wisdom and assistance. Amara, too, found solace in the newfound acceptance. The villagers' warm greetings and friendly conversations were a welcome change from the isolation she had experienced. She watched with pride as Nneka's gifts brought hope and healing to many. The bond between mother and daughter grew stronger as they navigated their new reality. Together, they celebrated the beauty of their village and the blessings they had received. As Prince Kofi's health continued to improve, his gratitude towards Nneka grew deeper. He had witnessed firsthand the power of her healing and the strength of her character. The once sick prince now sought to repay the debt he felt he owed. One day, King Nnamdi approached Nneka with a proposal. "My son has spoken highly of you, and we are deeply grateful for the gift you have given us. In recognition of your bravery and skill, Prince Kofi wishes to honor you in a special way." Nneka was both surprised and humbled. "What does he propose?" she asked. King Nnamdi smiled warmly. "Prince Kofi wishes to marry you. He believes that your union will symbolize the reconciliation of our peoples and the merging of the divine and earthly realms." Nneka was taken aback by the proposal. It was a significant honor, but she also felt the weight of the decision. She knew that such a union would bring together two worlds and bridge old grievances. The proposal was met with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. The village of Oba began preparations for a grand celebration, marking the union of Nneka and Prince Kofi. The palace was adorned with vibrant decorations, and the air was filled with a sense of festivity. Nneka and Amara were given special attention as they prepared for the upcoming wedding. Traditional garments were tailored, and intricate jewelry was crafted to celebrate the occasion. As the preparations unfolded, Nneka reflected on her journey. She had come from a place of uncertainty and fear to a position of honor and respect. The healing she had performed had not only changed her life but had also impacted the entire village. Amara, too, was filled with a sense of pride and fulfillment. She had faced immense challenges and had emerged stronger, thanks to her daughter's extraordinary gifts. The day of the wedding arrived with a burst of color and joy. The village of Oba and the palace were transformed into a vibrant tapestry of celebration. Music and laughter filled the air as people from all walks of life came together to witness the union of Nneka and Prince Kofi. The ceremony was a blend of traditional rituals and divine blessings. Nneka, dressed in an elaborate gown of shimmering fabrics, walked down the aisle with grace and poise. Prince Kofi, clad in regal attire, awaited her at the altar. The vows exchanged between Nneka and Kofi were heartfelt and sincere. They spoke of love, unity, and the promise of a future filled with hope and healing. The ceremony was a testament to their journey and the strength of their bond. As the newlyweds shared their first dance, the crowd erupted in cheers and applause. The celebration continued late into the night, with feasts, music, and dancing that brought the entire village together. With their union, Nneka and Prince Kofi began a new chapter in their lives. They worked together to promote harmony and prosperity in the village and beyond. Their efforts were focused on creating a future where the divine and earthly realms were in balance. Nneka continued to use her healing gifts to help those in need, and Prince Kofi supported her endeavors with his leadership and resources. Their partnership became a symbol of hope and unity, inspiring others to embrace the values of compassion and understanding. The village of Oba flourished under their guidance. The crops grew plentifully, and the people lived in harmony. The once resentful villagers now celebrated the blessings that Nneka and her mother had brought to their lives. As Nneka and Kofi's influence grew, they began to explore ways to bridge the gap between the divine and earthly realms. They sought to honor the river god Ejiro and ensure that the divine blessings continued to flow through their lives. They organized festivals and ceremonies to celebrate the gods and nature, inviting people from all villages to participate. These events were a blend of traditional rituals and new practices, creating a harmonious balance between the divine and the human. Nneka and Kofi also worked to educate the villagers about the importance of faith and respect for the divine. Their efforts fostered a sense of reverence and gratitude that transcended the boundaries of their own village. Years passed, and Nneka and Kofi's legacy continued to thrive. They had children of their own, who inherited their parents' gifts and values. The family became a beacon of hope and inspiration, guiding future generations with wisdom and compassion. The village of Oba remained a place of prosperity and peace, and the stories of Nneka's healing and the divine blessing continued to be passed down through the ages. The once skeptical villagers had come to see the beauty and power of the divine gifts that had transformed their lives. Nneka and Kofi's love story became a cherished part of the village's folklore, a reminder of the power of faith, healing, and the unity between the divine and earthly realms. As the years turned to decades, the story of Nneka and Prince Kofi became a cherished legend. Their tale was told and retold, with each generation adding their own perspectives and insights. The village of Oba continued to thrive, and the river, once a source of mystery and fear, became a symbol of life and blessings. The bond between the village and the divine remained strong, and the teachings of Nneka and Kofi were passed down with pride. In the end, the story of Amara, Nneka, and Prince Kofi was more than just a tale of healing and reconciliation. It was a testament to the enduring power of love, faith, and the divine connection that binds us all together. And so, the legend of Nneka and Prince Kofi lived on, a shining example of the harmony that can be achieved when we embrace our gifts and work together to create a better world. As we reach the end of the tale of Nneka and Prince Kofi, we see how their journey and the divine blessing transformed the village of Oba. Their story is a beautiful reminder of the power of love, faith, and healing. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you find most inspiring about Nneka's journey and the way she used her gifts? Share your answers in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more magical folk tales, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing captivating stories from the heart of Africa. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to share more adventures with you soon.